right, we are back in the booth and we are going to do a top water spook and a crappy pattern. What I've already done is I've already put a white base coat on it and let it dry. And what we're going to do first is we're going to use the crappy stencil from Insane Custom Stencils, which this is probably the best crappy stencil out there. So we're going to use it and do a little detail work to start. We're going to get some carbon black and put it in the gun. I'm actually going to be using a new gun I got. This is a HBB Plus. Just got it. I haven't even sprayed with it yet. So let me add a little bit of paint to the gun. And we'll go ahead and get started on this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to line it up with the eye. And I'm just going to use a little bit of the stencil. I may not use the whole thing. I'll take that off. And then I'll line it back up and I'll come down the body a little bit. That turned out good. I'm gonna use, I actually put a little more on there than I wanted. I wanted to get a little scale pattern into it, but that's okay. I can probably still do that. So we'll take the top of the stencil and we'll hit some of this face. I'll leave the bottom white. And what we'll do is we'll just turn it around. I won't try to do this one upside down. And I'll just make sure the back's not wet. And I'll just line it back up. And then I'll come down just like I did. Okay. And I'm going to paint the top black. This gun is very smooth. It is a 0.2 needle in this one. Okay. And we'll go ahead and fix the eyes. It wasn't all the way. So I'll probably use a little bit of color shift on this. I need to get a little bit of stencil work done on the front of this. Okay. And what we'll do is we'll let that dry and I'll be right back. All right, so I've gotten my sponge out and I'm gonna do a little bit of sporadic scales on it. I'm not going to do it over the whole bait. So let me get it set up here. Grab my wheel. Set it up where I want it. Tuck it and roll it over. Like I said, I'm just going to do some, I'm not covering the whole bait with the scale. So I'm going to do maybe a little bit here. Some on the ends. Maybe a little at the top here. Not going to do a lot. Okay. And we'll let that dry. right back. All right, so what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna use a little bit of Snow White Pearl. Any Snow White Pearl will do, whether it's golden, wicked. I'm just gonna use a house of color that I have here. I'm gonna put a little bit in here, and I'm just gonna kind of touch up where I put the scale pattern. I'm not gonna put it all over the bait. Get a few drops in there. We're gonna need it for the other side. We'll turn our fan on. And I'm just gonna hit it where I put some of the black scaling. Okay, we're gonna let that dry just for a second. All right, now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go over it with a little bit of eye candy color shift that I mixed up. Turn this up just a little bit. And I'm just gonna hit where I did the scales. Okay. All right, so it's dry, so let's just take a look at it. And that turned out really cool. So what we'll do, we'll take it and we'll flip it over, and we'll do the same thing on this side. I think this side will turn out a little bit better. I didn't quite hit the stencil as hard on this side. This is really what I wanted to do. I think it gives it a better effect when you kind of just do the top and the bottom and kind of leave the white, the middle a little bit more clear. So let's get our gun with the black in it. And we'll go ahead and hit just a little bit. Okay, so we'll change over. We'll change guns and use some pearl on this and go back over just where we had the scales. Okay. So now that that's dry, we'll just take some color shift and hit it over where we just did the scales at. Okay. So what we'll do now is we'll go ahead and take it out and see what we got. Okay, it gives it a really, just a different look. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna take some of this color shift and I'm gonna hit the eyes. Okay. All right, now I'm gonna shoot a different color shift on the top to kind of just give it some pop. one, we'll clean the gun out and we'll move to the next. All right, so let's get some eyes on this. And we've got some 10mm, just big pupil eye that I like to use for crappie type baits. And this is gonna be perfect for that. I've had these blanks for a very long time. I can't even, to be honest with you, I don't even know where I got these at. I want to say I got them from Schiltz, but I've had these. I had a subscriber say, could I do some more top water? And I knew I had them over there in the shop buried, and I just haven't used them in a while. And I went and dug them out. So what we'll do now is we're going to get a coat of UVLS over this. Turned out pretty cool. Pretty cool. Let me get it mixed up. All right, so we're going to get some UVLS on this, and I'm going to be spraying that UVLS on with my Krios PS290. It's a trigger gun. Very nice. 5mm, 0.5. It puts a good spray out. We'll just get a good cover on it. Okay, so we will let that dry, and then we will come back and go over the paints and what our top coat's gonna be. All right, what we're gonna do now is we're just gonna go over what we did. So this is a Zara Spook blank. I think I got it from Schiltz. Like I said, I've had this for quite a while, and I just dug it out. A subscriber wanted me to do some top water baits, so I went ahead and did one. What I did first was I put a coat of white base coat on the base of this. Then we came back over with the Insane Custom Stencils crappie stencil, and we put our design in, tried to kind of leave the middle not as dark with stencil work on it. Then we came back with our sponge and put a little bit of scale pattern in on this. Then we took some 4E's Candy pigments that I mixed, and I used, it's kind of a greenish color shift, and I put it over the scales. After I put a coat of black, then white, then my color shift. Then I mixed up some different color shift and put it over the top just to kind of give it a little bit of pop. And then I took a little bit of Snow White Pearl and kind of just softened up my bottom and a little bit of the scaling in the sides. We used some 10mm eyes that are large pupil eyes that kind of fit the color of the bait. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get set up, and we're going to put 2K clear on this one today. So let me get that set up and I'll be right back. All right, well, we had just a minor issue. I was going to do this bait in 2K clear, but when I went to do my mix, my hardener had totally hardened up. I don't know what exactly happened with that, so I'm gonna have to get some more hardener, and so we're gonna put some UV resin on this. So I've got it all ready to go. It's dry, and we'll go ahead and get this on here. I will get some more of that hardener, and I'll do some videos with the 2K in case anybody is interested in that. It's a very good finish. I like to use it on swim baits, especially resin ones. It just does a better job. But I love the this Illumi UV. It does a great job too. It is really making the bait pop. So we'll just make sure we go over it. Make sure there's no air bubbles in it. It really made that color shift pop on top. I'll clear out my hook eyes here in a minute. I see one of them has gotten some resin in it. You definitely want to do that. You don't want to try to do that after the fact. It's a lot harder to do. Okay. So we'll set this up. I've got a little tool here that I use to clean out my, it's just a little pointer. You can get it at Harbor Freight. And I usually just clear them out just to make sure there's nothing in them. It just saves a lot of headaches down the road. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it in the box, and as soon as it comes out, we'll do a final reveal and end this one up. All right, well, we've got it out of the box, and here is the finished product. Remember to hit the like button, subscribe, hit the bell notification so you know when I have upcoming videos. And like I always say, I'll catch you next time. Thanks.